I will talk most of the time about JChem for Office Lite, and after that, just two news in a standard JChem for Office. Two new features that is coming will be just mentioned. So, as Edit emphasized how important it is to answer when we develop something the why. I think I should kind of explain why we started the JChem for Office Lite development. So imagine that you have different partners, or even inside your company, you use different chemical editors. And when you create reports in Word documents or PowerPoint presentation, then you exchange this to another colleague where his or her preference is a different chemical editor, then you have issues with a standard copy-paste workflow from your editor and resulting in a so-called OLE object, which is then not understood well by the other editor. In JChem for Office, we already had a concept that replaces OLE as in a technological point of view, because OLE has a lot of issues with resizing issues and how it is handled, some performance issues. Even Microsoft doesn't support it officially, like I think 6 or 7 years. But the question is that JChem for Office has many functionality. And what if I need only just a copy-paste invisible functions resulting in editable objects in my documents? So we started thinking of this, how to solve this. And also, it has an economical point. Maybe if you need only these chemistry functionalities and you don't want to use the extended features of Excel and Office, then why would you pay so much money for the license? So this is targeted to be an answer to all of these questions. So I will first describe the vision for you, then we'll show a quick video about the prototype we currently have. So start with this. The concept is it's invisible, so there's no ribbon. Only in Word, PowerPoint, and Outlook, so no Excel component. And it's faster, and you don't see anything when you use it. The workflow is what we want to support: Control-C, Control-V to Office document, and then with double-click you can edit it. So for the paste itself, you will not need license. It is free. The license is needed only when you start editing it. The key is that what if my structure contains some specific features like images that is specific for that appropriate editor? So what the answer is that we will render this structure image by the source editor. So if you copy from ChemDraw, this will be rendered by ChemDraw. If you copy from BioVia, this will be rendered by BioVia. And the chemistry will be stored in the original format. So if you copy from ChemDraw, then it is CDX. If from BioVia, this is SKC. From MARVIN, this is MARVIN. Okay. So, and after that, when you double-click, then we can shoot up the most appropriate editor for this. What does this mean? If you have a CDX content, if you have MRV, of course, you will have MARVIN. If you have CDX or CDXML, I will show this can communicate with the JS, MARVIN.js and ChemDraw.js. Then ChemDraw is used. If it is SKC, then BioVia. But of course, you can configure your preferred editor if you don't want to use a specific one. Okay. Let's start the video. So I'm now in ChemDraw and just adding to my structure some biological image to prove that the rendering will really happen with ChemDraw. So Control A, Control C, then let's go to PowerPoint. Now the rendering is dynamic. This recognizes the SKC, stores it, and calls ChemDraw to render the image. If I double click, now it is configured actually to ChemDraw, but if it's dynamic, this will recognize ChemDraw. And I just proved that I add another image, which is specific to ChemDraw, and when I click OK, it's added. It's there. Now I don't have to open the editor, just Control-C on the object, go back to ChemDraw. This is why I deleted, and you can see that it's there. So you don't have to open your editor for copy-paste. OK, now I configured my Outlook to use IsisDraw. I just already opened that. And again, now add some specific biological image which is specific to SKC or BioVia Control-C. I can transfer to show that I can also edit the object inside Outlook. Then I don't have to deal with this anymore. But I still have on the clipboard the SKC format. Now I go to Word, Control-V. It dynamically finds my BioVia and render the image with it. If I double-click, it opens BioVia, and then I can show that I can add an additional, again, an image, and I can modify this. Okay, so for the Control-V, you don't need a license. For editing, you will need license. Let's keep in mind. Okay, let's go a little bit behind the scenes. Yeah, I just enlarge always the structures to see it's really a vector graphics. Okay, now this is MARVIN.js. I didn't demo MARVIN because it's obviously work. But if I go to MARVIN.js and push Control-C, then of course if I paste it, this will now apply my rendering parameters set in my Word. I can do exactly the same in ChemDraw.js. Again, I add some specific ChemDraw-specific image and select everything, Control-C, and go back to PowerPoint, and then Control-V. And then what I now will show is that the right one is copied from ChemDraw, the left one is from ChemDraw.js, and the way we store the chemistry is in alternate text. We have a encoded chemistry data. You can see it's always the leading characters tells what is this. This is CDX on the right one, CDXML on the left one. It came from ChemDraw.js. If I double click, then of course it shoots the ChemDraw. This is my desktop editor, most appropriate for this. And when I change it, okay, again I add something which is a specific ChemDraw feature there. And then from that point, this becomes CDX because it was created by ChemDraw. And just finally, I show that if I copy-paste a BioVia object, SKC object, I copy from the editor directly to PowerPoint. You will see that it finds BioVia for rendering, and I just enlarge to, this is really a vector graphics. And on the right, you can see that this is SKC. If you are interested, it's a prototype. We now would like to collect information and additionally validate the why. How do you want to use it? Is it interesting then? Let's talk. Okay, just quickly about some two new features. One is actually needed for the Lite version, because currently in JChem for Office you can set your display preferences in the options. Then with a single click you can apply on your structures. But if there's no ribbon, there's nothing to click on. So this new feature is that if you double click, it opens MARVIN. Then you change your display properties, and then it is retained on based on that changes. It is coming also in JChem for Office. This will be an option. If someone likes the clicking on Apply Display Settings, can use that. If someone wants to change the settings inside MARVIN Sketch, can choose that option. But of course, in MARVIN Lite, this will be the way how you change your display settings. And the last, but I think the biggest new feature, we worked a lot on this. You will not need to push the copy and paste buttons anymore for table of like SCR, hit-colored tables. You just Control-C, Control-V, and it goes to PowerPoint or Word or Outlook.
I think you said it at the beginning, but you didn't mention it in the further presentation. What happens if I have a document and I give it to a colleague and he has no MARVIN installed, he has only ChemDraw, let's say, but I created the object with MARVIN. What happens then? Do you a kind of conversion? Or?
I see. Okay. So the MRV. So this is unfortunately ChemDraw doesn't understand MRV. Yes. So we always fall back to MARVIN if the editor cannot understand the ChemDraw.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a point.
Yeah, but okay.
Actually, no. If you set the editor not dynamically used, then and you set ChemDraw, you can already do this in JChem for Office. Then we will export to CDX, and you can use ChemDraw. You can already do this in JChem for Office.
But I have it to do on my computer, where I have all.
No.
No.
So when you there will be a configuration option on that that user who has the Lite to use ChemDraw as an editor and not a dynamic recognition, and then it's always export to to CDX. The thing is that you have to keep in mind that if you have these kind of objects, certainly you will have some losing information because of import-export things. But we don't do anything. So if you have a bio via SKC stored with the object, then you send it to a colleague who has ChemDraw. When they double-click, we just pass the SKC to ChemDraw. So they import it.